tiẹ̀ wo bẹ̀ rárá.
wọ́n ṣera wọn bí àkìtàn tó jẹ́ pé oríṣiríṣi ẹ̀gbin ládà sí
àwárí lónìí lọ́wọ́ INEC lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run.
lọ́wọ́ INEC lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run.
lọ́wọ́ INEC lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run.
ẹ jẹ́ pé lẹ́yìn Ọlọ́run lọ́wọ́ INEC ló tún.
lónìí báyìí fún ètò ìdìbò yìí lẹ́yìn Ọlọ́run náà tún ni lẹ́yìn Ọlọ́run náà tún ni àmọ́ lẹ́yìn yìí o INEC ló kàn. INEC ló torí kò sí nǹkan tá a fẹ́ ṣe tí INEC bá ti sọ pé rárá ni tí wọ́n bá sọ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni gbogbo bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ náà ni ó jẹ́ torí ọwọ́ wọn ni èkú dá wà fún tòní tá a bá dẹ̀ wò ó dáadáa ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn nǹkan tí ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ káàkiri a rí wípé lórí àwọn INEC iná ni gbogbo ẹ̀ wà Ọlọ́run ló sì fún wọn ṣe débi tí adé torí tí èèyàn bá ṣe Ọlọ́run kò sí ohun tí èèyàn lè dá ṣe ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ibi tí a ti rí a rí pé àwọn èèyàn ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n ń di ìbò wọn lọ ní dáadáa lélẹ́yìí tí kò sì sí pé wọ́n ní wọ́n pè kan láti ibì kan àwọn ibi tí kùdìẹ̀kudiẹ wà náà ìyànjú ó ń wà láwọn ibì kan àwọn ibi tó sì kù díẹ̀ káàtó a rí wípé nígbà tí ètò ìdìbò ọba fi parí
wọ́n ṣàtúnṣe sí
wọ́n ṣe àtúnṣe sí ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ibi tí àwọn olùdíje gbogbo tí wọ́n ti dìbò láàárọ̀ yìí ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà fúnra rẹ̀
àwọn gan ti dìbò lónìí.
bàbá ti dìbò láàárọ̀ yìí.
bàbá tún gbé ìwé ìdìbò.
bàbá tiẹ̀ sọ wípé tó àwọn ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn rú òfin ètò ìdìbò kan pé má jẹ́ àgbọ́ ẹ mọ̀ pé má jẹ́ àgbọ́ lè ètò ìdìbò pé secret ballot ni pé tó bá ti tẹ̀ báyìí ó gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ nìkan orí àmọ́ kí wọ́n lè fi ìdánilójú hàn pé tó ẹni báyìí o
àwọn dìbò fún
o
nítorí awuyewuye tó ti ń lọ tẹ́lẹ̀
kò gbọ́ ti Tinubu kò gbọ́ tó lè díje wọn bàbá wa fi hàn pé ẹ wò ó ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú tí òun dìbò fún òun rèé lẹ́yìn èyí náà ni ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn olùdíje míì Adéwọlé Adébáyọ̀ tí ó jẹ́ olùdíje lẹ́gbẹ́ òṣèlú SDP àwọn náà dìbò ní ibùdó ìdìbò wọn àti ìyàwó wọn bákan náà la rí olùdíje lẹ́gbẹ́ òṣèlú PDP Àtíkù Abubakar
àwọn náà
dìbò ládàmáwá wọn bákan náà la rí olùdíje ní ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC àwọn náà lọ sí Tinubu àwọn náà lọ sí ibùdó ìdìbò wọn
ní
Aláùsá níkẹjà tí wọ́n ti lọ dìbò ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn nǹkan wọ̀nyí náà ni a ti ń rí láti àárọ̀ ẹ wo ìròyìn pọ̀ bíi rẹpẹtẹ eléyìí tí a máa mú lẹ́yọ kọ̀ọ̀kan.
dókítà nígbà tá a ti dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò tá a ti dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ààrẹ tá a ti dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àjọ elétò ìdìbò ẹ jẹ́ a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà náà.
ó tọ́ màdé ẹni o
ká dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn náà
dúpẹ́
wípé
dúpẹ́.
bí ìjọba ṣe la ètò ìdìbò kalẹ̀ tí àjọ elétò ìdìbò náà sì sọ pé ọjọ́ báyìí ni ó wáyé tí ìbò ọ̀hún sì ti ń wáyé táwọn èèyàn sì ń jáde tí wọ́n sì ń dìbò àwọn míì wà tó jẹ́ pé láti bí ilẹ̀ ti mọ́ fẹ́rẹ́ náà wọ́n ti jáde wípé àwọn ṣàdìbò yìí ni àwọn míì wà tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n ṣáájú àwọn tó jẹ́ òṣìṣẹ́ àjọ elétò ìdìbò débùdó ìdìbò tí ó sì jẹ́ pé títí di àkókò yìí àwọn míì sì wà ń bẹ̀ bó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé kùdìẹ̀kudiẹ ń wáyé wọ́n sì sọ wípé ọ̀nà táwọn ó bá gbà tí ìdìbò yóò fi kẹsẹ̀ járí iná ni wọ́n tiẹ̀ sọ gan wípé níbìkan wípé wọ́n ní iná bifas wípé kú àwọn kan bá lọ gbé jẹnẹrétọ̀ àwọn míì tiẹ̀ wá lọ mú power bank wá wípé ẹ lo power bank
pé alẹ́ ṣáàjì
kẹ́mi àdìbò yìí ni kíní yìí gbọ́dọ̀ ṣiṣẹ́ nítorí náà agbóṣùbà fún gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà wípé a ṣe ìṣe ọmọlúàbí àwa lè ṣe ká má rí àwọn tí wọ́n tún hùwà bákan náà.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni tá a bá sì wò dáadáa àwọn ibìkan wọ́n ti ń ka ìbò báyìí.
àwọn ti dìbò tán.
wọ́n ti ń ka ìbò àmọ́ kó tó di wípé a bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní wo àwọn tí wọ́n ti ń ka ìbò kódà ó pọ̀ jàǹtìrẹrẹ
tí wọ́n ti ń kàbọ̀ tiwọn báyìí.
tí wọ́n ti ń kàbọ̀ tiwọn lọ́wọ́ báyìí àmọ́ kó tó di ká máa wo àwọn yìí hùn ẹ jẹ́ ká wo ìbò kíkà eléyìí tí ó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní Etí Ọ̀sà ní polling unit 77 èyí ibùdó ìdìbò ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹtàdínlọ́gọ́rin ní Etí Ọ̀sà local government a rí i pé níbẹ̀ yẹn wọn ti ẹ̀ fi falẹ̀ rárá láti nǹkan bí aago 3 náà ni wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí yíyọ ìdìbò síra wọn ta ni lágbájá dìbò fún ṣé tẹ̀mẹ̀dò ló ní ilé yà bí báwo ni wọ́n rí àrídájú pé gbogbo àwọn nǹkan yẹn náà ni wọ́n ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tí wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní ṣe bákan náà tá a bá tún wo Lagos Island ward 3 ward E3 unit 19 àwọn náà tó fi mọ́ ward 3 náà a ní ward 3 a ní ward E3 níbẹ̀ yẹn náà àwọn náà ò fi falẹ̀ rárá àwọn náà ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ọwọ́ aago 3 bẹ́ẹ̀ sì rèé ó jẹun tó wá yanilẹ́nu wípé ní nǹkan bí aago 3 ní aago 3 ìbò tí ì bẹ̀rẹ̀ níbì kan
láwọn ibì kan
tí ò tí ì bẹ̀rẹ̀ rárá ní Akuakuma Junior Secondary School ní Òwèrì wọ́n ní láti ní nǹkan aago 3 ìbò tí ì bẹ̀rẹ̀ rárá
nípínlẹ̀ Imo nìyẹn
nípínlẹ̀ Imo ó yanilẹ́nu nígbà tí wọ́n fi fọ́nrán ọ̀hún tí wọ́n fi ránṣẹ́ sí wa ṣe lèmi gan wò pé
aago 3
kí lohun tí ó ṣe okùnfà irú nǹkan yìí bẹ́ẹ̀ sì rèé ní aago 3 kù ìṣẹ́jú aago 3 kù ìṣẹ́jú 9 ní Limawa wọ́ọ̀dù ní Sábó Títí ní Chanchaka ní Minna làwọn náà ti ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tí wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní ka ìbò wọn nípínlẹ̀ Ondo bákan náà ní Barracks Road Ondo West Local Government ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ ìwọ̀ oòrùn Ondo ní Ward 10 Unit 19 ní nǹkan bí aago 3 kù ìṣẹ́jú 15 náà ni wọ́n ti parí ìdìbò táwọn náà ti ń yọ ọ̀kan sí ọ̀kan bẹ́ẹ̀ sì rèé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn nǹkan yìí iná ló jẹ́ wípé à ń wò ó wípé báwo ni a ṣe ṣe tí a fi rí bòkà lónìí tí òfin ní jẹ́ wípé a wà á ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ a wà sọ pé tó ó dọ̀la ó dọ̀túnla bó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ pé a ti ń rí àwọn ibì kan ẹ wo tabaníkàmàkà ní ìsìn ó ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wọlé ni wípé Ọ̀ṣínbàjò igbákejì ààrẹ polling unit ẹ̀ níbi tí ó ti ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tí ó ti ń dìbò gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n ti sọ wọ́n ní olùdíje sí ipò ààrẹ Aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu wọ́n ní ó jáwé olúborí ní ibùdó ìdìbò ọ̀hún ìyẹn túmọ̀ sí wípé igbákejì ààrẹ Yẹmí Ọ̀ṣínbàjò ní Ìkẹ́nnẹ́ l'Ógùn state o ọpẹ́tò Tinubu wọ́n ní mo fa polling unit mi wọ́n ní mo fà á lé lọ́wọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ sì rèé bákan náà ní ward 7 polling unit ní Àgùdà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ àwọn náà ti parí ìdìbò kódà wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní ka ìbò wọn láti nǹkan bíi aago 4 gẹ́gẹ́ bí Lọ́lá Ọ̀kẹ́ bí ó ti ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ bí ó ti fi ṣọwọ́ bákan náà wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní kó gbogbo ẹ̀ papọ̀ ní Lagos Island wards E3 polling unit 6 and 7
wọ́n ti ń kó jọ
unit 6 and 7 wọ́n ti ń yọ mọ́ra wọn síra wọn bákan náà ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn ní Dùrùmí nílùú Àbújá bó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ wípé ètò ìdìbò ń lọ wọ́n ní àwọn ẹ̀ṣọ́ àwọn àjọ INEC àwọn aṣojú wọn tí ó jẹ́ òṣìṣẹ́ INEC náà ni wọ́n sọ pé wọ́n ó dá ìbò dúró láago 3 tó ti kọjá lọ yìí ṣùgbọ́n àwọn èèyàn sì wà ńbẹ̀ tí wọ́n sọ pé rárá o pé káwọn máa di ìbò lọ nítorí pé wọ́n ní bíbáàsì 3 péré náà ni ó wà ńbẹ̀ láti fi máa ṣe ìforúkọsílẹ̀ tó sì jẹ́ pé àwọn èèyàn tí ń bẹ ńbẹ̀ wọ́n lé ní 5,000 ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà kí Ọlọ́run kó ṣàánú wa ṣẹwárí Ọpẹ́yẹmí Amọ́sùn kó tó di wípé a lọ sí òkè lọ́hùn tí a máa wá yànnàná àwọn nǹkan yìí lẹ́yọ kọ̀ọ̀kan tá a lọ fi gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tá a lọ fi hàn àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà tá a tún máa pe àwọn èèyàn wa tí wọ́n ń bẹ ní àwọn ojúkò gbogbo káàkiri tó sì tún jẹ́ pé bákan náà a tún rí dájú pé ẹ̀yin èèyàn náà tún láǹfààní láti pè wọlé kó tó dìgbà náà gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ wà lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà tẹ́ ẹ̀ tí ì dìbò kí lẹ̀ ń ṣe ṣé ẹ̀ ń jókòó dìgbà tí wọ́n sọ pé ìbò tán tẹ́ ẹ bá sọ pé rárá o àwa ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń dé ni o kò yẹ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ sì ti dìbò tẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ pé tó ẹ fẹ́ lọlé ṣé kìí ṣe wípé ẹ̀ ń dúró pé kíjà ọbẹ̀.
kẹ́yìn náà dá sí i.
kẹ́yìn náà dá sí i. ètò ìdìbò ọdún 2023 ó ti dé ó ti wá a ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ a ti fẹ́ parí ẹ̀.
yóò sì yọrí sí rere.
yóò yọrí sí rere.
agbára Ọlọ́run.
ẹ jẹ́ ká jẹ́ kí ó wá bẹ́ẹ̀ kó lọ dáadáa bẹ́ẹ̀. gbogbo ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ náà torí Yorùbá ní tẹ́lẹ̀-ń-tẹ́ni.
àkísà ń tà tán.
kíní wá sí ni ó yàtọ̀ sí kíní mi ni Ọpẹ́yẹmí Amọ́sùn àwọn èèyàn rẹ lókè òbó ni wọ́n ti ń ṣe.
wọ́ọ́rọ́wọ́ lètò ìdìbò lọ lónìí kò tiẹ̀ sí ohun tí ń jẹ́ pé tètè dìbò àbí àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àjọ elétò ìdìbò tètè dé nǹkan kan náà tó kàn jẹ́ pé ó jẹ́ ìpèníjà káàkiri tí ó sì wáyé ń bẹ̀ ojú pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn olùdìbò ló jẹ́ pé wọn ò mọ̀ wípé wọ́n ti gbé orúkọ wọn lọ sí ibùdó ìdìbò míì débi pé wọ́n ṣẹ̀ wá ń wá ibi ibùdó ìdìbò ń káàkiri fún àpẹẹrẹ ẹni tó wà ní ọjà Ìṣíà ó dọ́jà Ìṣíà níbi tí ó ti dìbò ó rí pé orúkọ òun ò sí ń bẹ̀ ó ṣẹ̀ wá ń wá lọ sí sùkúù Ìṣíà ìyẹn Baptist Primary School ní Ìṣíà kan náà eléyìí túmọ̀ sí pé àkọ́kọ́ náà ẹ̀bí ń bẹ lọ́wọ́ olùdìbò ó ti yẹ kó lọ wo orúkọ síwájú òní tó bá ti wò síwájú òní ó ti mọ̀ wípé orúkọ rẹ ò sí ń bẹ̀ tó lọ wo polling unit míì kejì náà ni wípé ó kan àjọ elétò ìdìbò náà ìfitónilétí ò tó ìlanilọ́yẹ̀ kò tó lélẹ́yìí tí wọ́n ṣe ẹ ṣe o ṣùgbọ́n ó sì kù díẹ̀ káàtó ó yẹ káwọn èèyàn mọ̀ dáadáa nípa àyípadà ibùdó ìdìbò àwọn olùdìbò eléyìí tó jẹ́ pé ó jẹ́ ìpèníjà káàkiri lónìí.
tá a bá wá wò á rí i pé INEC fúnra wọn ti sọ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ lórí gbígbé ibùdó ìdìbò àwọn èèyàn kúrò ní ibi tí wọ́n wà lọ sí ibòmíì torí pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ náà ló jẹ́ wípé wọ́n pọ̀ jù láwọn ibì kan ẹ jẹ́ á wo ibi tí wọ́n sọ wípé èèyàn bíi 5,000 wà báyìí nísìnyí irú yìí ká ní pé wọ́n bá ti mú wọn tí wọ́n ti kó wọn lọ sí àwọn ibòmíì á rí wípé yóò rọrùn fún wọn wọ́n dẹ̀ ní bivas 3 náà ní abẹ́ ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ́gbẹ̀ta wọ́n ní bivas 3 péré náà ló wà ń bẹ̀ ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ wá rò pé bivas 3 lórí àwọn odidi èrò tó pọ̀ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn kí wọ́n tó ṣèforúkọsílẹ̀ tán gan-an
àkókò
ti lọ n tá máa wá bẹ àjọ INEC ni pé gbogbo ibi táwọn èrò bá ti wà ńlẹ̀ tó jẹ́ pé àwọn èèyàn ti wà ńlẹ̀ o ìgbà tí ìbá àdà ẹ jẹ́ ká jẹ́ kí wọ́n dìbò wọn tán níwọ̀n bàbà tó jẹ́ pé kì í ṣe pé wọ́n ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń wá ẹ gbé wọn ti wà ńlẹ̀ wọ́n ti fẹ́ dìbò wọ́n ti wà lórí ìlà ẹ ti fún wọn nọ́mbà èmi wò pé ká jẹ́ kí wọ́n dìbò ní ó jẹ́ ká làáfíà kó wà so èrèdí rẹ̀ ta fi ń ké sí gbogbo àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àjọ elétò ìdìbò pátápátá wípé kí wọ́n dákun bẹ́ẹ̀ sì rèé ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Mahmood Yakub alága àjọ elétò ìdìbò àṣẹ tí bàbá bá pa báyìí òun náà ni yóò múlẹ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí àwọn làárẹ̀ ààrẹ elétò ìdìbò apàṣẹ wàá kí wọ́n wá ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ kí wọ́n láǹfààní láti ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ láti bá wa pa àṣẹ yìí wípé tó ẹ dákun gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ òṣìṣẹ́ o àwọn tó bá ti wà lórí ìlà títí tó fi di aago báyìí ẹ dákun ẹ jẹ́ kí wọ́n ó dìbò kó tó di pé a padà dé ẹ jẹ́ kí a kọ́kọ́ lọ sókè lọ́hùn náà ó láwọn fọ́nrán eléyìí tí a fi hàn yín lórí àwọn eléyìí tí a ti sọ fún yín ẹ bàbá wa dé látòkè lọ́hùn a wá ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ a máa wá tún nà ń bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ̀yin náà láǹfààní láti pè wọlé lágbára Ọlọ́run sí orí ètò lónìí àmọ́ kó tó di wípé àtẹ̀wájú lọ sókè lọ Ọpẹ́yẹmí Amosu ṣé o rò wípé àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà kan wọ́n sì ní lọ́kàn wípé ètò ìdìbò yìí o tí ó bá wáyé tó jẹ́ pé olùdíje àwọn ò wọlé àwọn ọ̀dà nǹkan lẹ̀.
dókítà irú ẹ̀ ò lè má ṣàlàyé wáyé bí ọ̀rọ̀ àlùfàǹṣá àbí bí ọ̀rọ̀ ìrẹ́gẹ́ tẹ́lòmíì tiẹ̀ ń sọ ni pé bí olùdíje àwọn ò bá wọlé o àwọn ò pín Nàìjíríà sí mo ní òkè tó bá jẹ́ pé wọlé ńkọ́
bẹ́ẹ̀ ní pín Nàìjíríà
ṣùgbọ́n tí ò bá wọlé ẹlẹ́pìn
tí ò yẹ kó ṣẹlẹ̀
àbí
òun ni à ń sọ yìí kò sí bẹ́ẹ̀ yóò ṣe díje dupò ẹnìkan náà ni ó wọlé.
bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ń du ọba ẹnìkan ó jẹba ẹnìkan ó sì lọ jẹba ńlé.
àbí ẹni ó sì jẹba ńlé ìyẹn sọ pé kó má gbàyé.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni
ìyẹn sọ pé kó má ṣe ọlọ́run bá sì sọ pé ẹ̀mí ọba ó gùn yóò gùn ọlọ́run bá tó ẹ̀mí ọba kò ní gbà ọlọ́run tó lè padà díje eléyìí ó sì wá aṣọ ọba ọdún mẹ́rin ni ẹni tí ò wọlé lọ́dún yìí ó ṣeé ṣe kó wọlé lọ́dún tó ń bọ̀.
bẹ́ẹ̀ sì tún rè ẹ̀gbọ́n ọba máa ní.
ọba ni àbúrò ọba ni ìyá ọba ni bàbá ọba ni ọkọ̀dà ọ̀rẹ́ ọba gan-an ẹ̀yà gbọ́dọ̀ máa bí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ ọba ó sì kélé gbé.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni
èmi àti Ọpẹ́yẹmí Amosu à ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ à ń rọ gbogbo wa pátápátá a gbọ́ àwọn ohun tí àwọn èèyàn fi léde fún wa lónìí tí a kà sí ti yín láwọn òbí kan wọ́n ní ètò ìdìbò lè wáyé látàrí pé àwọn kan wọ́n ti ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n ti ṣe àwọn nǹkan kan nígbà tá a bá padà dé ẹ máa gbọ́ wọn ká tó padà déhùn ẹja lọ ṣẹ́ mímu ná à ń lọ à ń bọ̀ àti dé.
ẹ máa fọkàn síbẹ̀ o ẹ máa fọkàn síbẹ̀ o ọmọ tó wà bí fọkàn sí o.
Yo, as you can see, people are getting very frustrated at Akwakuma Secondary School. People are getting frustrated already. Up to now, there is no INEC presence. They want to use this to disenfranchise the Southeast from voting. People are still patiently waiting.
àjọ INEC náà tí wọ́n ti ń gbáradì pẹ̀ tí wọ́n dé tí wọ́n ti ń gbáradì fún ètò ìdìbò àwọn tí ó dẹ̀ máa Tinubu tí máa di ìdìbò wọn fún ètò ìdìbò àwọn tí ó dẹ̀ máa.
wọ́n gòkè wá sí i. wọ́n ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ọgbà yìí sí wọ́n gòkè wá sí i. wọ́n ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ọgbà yìí sí wọ́n gòkè wá sí i. wọ́n ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ọgbà yìí
aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu ti máa di ìbò wọn. A lè ti rí àwọn ètò àjọ INEC náà tí wọ́n ti ń gbáradì pẹ̀ tí wọ́n dé tí wọ́n ti ń gbáradì fún ètò ìdìbò. Àwọn tí ó dẹ̀ máa dìbò náà wọ́n ti wà ní ìkàlẹ̀ tó ti ṣe díẹ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn sì ti ń lẹ orúkọ, àwọn èèyàn ti lọ ń wo orúkọ wọn níbi tí wọ́n ti máa dìbò. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ètò àwọn ọlọ́pàá wọ́n ti wà ní ìkàlẹ̀ láti rí pé gbogbo nǹkan ó lọ ní ìrọwọ́rẹsẹ̀. Kò tí ì pẹ́ náà ta rí àwọn ètò àjọ immigration àwọn náà ti wà ní ìkàlẹ̀ láti rí pé kò sí ìjà bó ti lè wò ó kéré mọ́ kí gbogbo ẹ̀ kó lọ ní ìrọwọ́rọsẹ̀. A ó máa fún yín ní.
Ǹjẹ́ o ti gba káàdì ìdìbò alálòpẹ́ rẹ? Kaftan TV Yorùbá ń ké sí gbogbo olùdìbò láti ṣe ẹlẹ́rìí bó ṣe ń ṣẹlẹ̀ níbùdó ìdìbò wọn. Ìgbà ọ̀tun ti dé báwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Ìdìbò àpapọ̀ ọdún 2023 dé bá wa. Ìyípadà tí a ń béèrè fún yóò dé bá wa tí a bá lè jáde ní ìṣọ̀kan láti dìbò wa. Ọjọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dọ́gbọ̀n oṣù kejì ní bí àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà yóò ṣe máa tú jáde lọ sí ibùdó ìdìbò wọn. Kaftan Television Yorùbá yóò máa ṣàfihàn rẹ̀ ní yàjóyàjó lórí ìkànnì 132 DTT tàbí 482 DTH lórí StarTime. Ṣíṣe àfihàn lórí afẹ́fẹ́ bó ṣe ń lọ níbi gbogbo yóò máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní déédéé agogo 8 àárọ̀ títí ìdìbò yóò fi wá sópin. Gbogbo àwọn olólùfẹ́ wa ni yóò ní àǹfààní láti fi èrò àti ìrírí wọn hàn. Rí i dájú pé o yí móhùnmáwòrán rẹ̀ sí Kaftan TV Yorùbá ní ìkànnì 132 DTT tàbí 482 DTH lórí StarTime ní ọjọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dọ́gbọ̀n oṣù kejì láti déédéé aago 8 òwúrọ̀. Ìgbà ọ̀tun ti dé báwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Ìdìbò àpapọ̀ ọdún 2023 dé bá wa. Ìyípadà tí a ń béèrè fún yóò dé bá wa tí a bá lè jáde ní ìṣọ̀kan láti dìbò wa. Ọjọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dọ́gbọ̀n oṣù kejì ní bí àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà yóò ṣe máa tú jáde lọ sí ibùdó ìdìbò wọn. Kaftan Television Yorùbá yóò máa ṣàfihàn rẹ̀ ní yàjóyàjó lórí ìkànnì 132 DTT tàbí 482 DTH lórí StarTime. Ṣíṣe àfihàn lórí afẹ́fẹ́ bó ṣe ń lọ níbi gbogbo yóò máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní déédéé agogo 8 àárọ̀ títí ìdìbò yóò fi wá sópin. Gbogbo àwọn olólùfẹ́ wa ni yóò ní àǹfààní láti fi èrò àti ìrírí wọn hàn. Rí i dájú pé o yí móhùnmáwòrán rẹ̀ sí Kaftan TV Yorùbá ní ìkànnì 132 DTT tàbí 482 DTH lórí StarTime ní ọjọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dọ́gbọ̀n oṣù kejì láti déédéé aago 8 òwúrọ̀. Ìgbà ọ̀tun ti dé báwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Ìdìbò àpapọ̀ ọdún 2023 dé bá wa. Ìyípadà tí a ń béèrè fún yóò dé bá wa tí a bá lè jáde ní ìṣọ̀kan láti dìbò wa. Ọjọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dọ́gbọ̀n oṣù kejì ní bí àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà yóò ṣe máa tú jáde lọ sí ibùdó ìdìbò wọn. Kaftan Television Yorùbá yóò máa ṣàfihàn rẹ̀ ní yàjóyàjó lórí ìkànnì 132 DTT tàbí 482 DTH lórí StarTime. Ṣíṣe àfihàn lórí afẹ́fẹ́ bó ṣe ń lọ níbi gbogbo yóò máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní déédéé agogo 8 àárọ̀ títí ìdìbò yóò fi wá sópin. gbogbo àwọn olólùfẹ́ wa ni yóò ní àǹfààní láti fi èrò àti ìrírí wọn hàn. rí i dájú pé o yí móhùnmáwòrán rẹ̀ sí Kaftan TV Yorùbá ní ìkànnì 132DTT tàbí 482DTH lórí StarTime ní ọjọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dọ́gbọ̀n oṣù kejì láti déédéé aago 8 òwúrọ̀. ìgbà ọ̀tun ti dé báwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀.
tó ẹ káàbọ̀ padà láti òkè lọ́hùn-ún ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn nǹkan náà lẹ ti ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tí ẹ ti rí ká máa wá yànnà náà láàrin ìṣẹ́jú bíi 5 sí 7 lẹ́yìn ìgbà yìí á pe àwọn olùjábọ̀ ìròyìn wa eléyìí tí wọ́n bẹ ní àwọn ojúkò káàkiri àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ tí ẹ̀yin náà gbọ́ bí ó ṣe ń lọ láti ọ̀dọ̀ wọn láti ọ̀dọ̀ rẹ̀ ń bẹ̀ mo gbọ́ nǹkan kan ṣé lóòótọ́ ni wípé aláwọn tó ti pàdánù ẹ̀mí wọn.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ní òwúrọ̀ tòní mọ́jú ẹni tó jẹ́ alága ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú Labour Party ní agbègbè Kàrìṣí ìyẹn Kàrìṣí district ní olú ìlú lẹ̀wà nílùú Àbújá ọ̀gbẹ́ni Valentine Osugbo wọ́n ní ó ti parí gbogbo ètò fún bí ìdìbò ni ó ṣe lọ lálẹ́ àná tó sì sùn tó ń retí bí ìbò wọn ó ṣe wáyé lówùúrọ̀ tòní ṣùgbọ́n gbà tílẹ̀ òní ó fi mọ́ kò jí sáyé eléyìí bá wọn. ìkejì náà ni wípé alága ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú PDP ní olú ìlú lẹ̀wà nílùú Àbújá kan náà ọ̀gbẹ́ni Sunday Saka nídàájí òwúrọ̀ yìí ló ń gbéra lọ sí àdúgbò ibi tó ti fẹ́ dìbò ní Kùjé ṣùgbọ́n nínú ọkọ̀ tó ń wà lọ jàǹbá wáyé ẹ̀mí rẹ̀ sì lọ sí tó túmọ̀ sí pé alága ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú PDP ní orílẹ̀ wa nílùú Àbújá ó pàdánù ẹ̀mí rẹ̀ lówùúrọ̀ tòní bákan náà. Wọ́n ní ọmọ ènìyàn ń wojú ni Ọlọ́run ó ń wo ọkàn. Àdúrà tá à ń gbà náà ni pé kí Ọlọ́run kó bá wa tu ẹbí àti ará àwọn tó ti pàdánù ẹ̀mí wọn yìí nínú. Èèyàn ń gbèrò ni
Ọlọ́run
láti ṣe
nìkan.
nǹkan kan ṣùgbọ́n Ọlọ́run nìkan ló ní sábàbí àti déédéé.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni fún gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ wà nílé pátápátá kí a ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ kí a bá wọn dárò
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
torí ó jẹ́ ohun tó bani nínú jẹ́ pé nígbà tí wọ́n ti gbìyànjú láti ṣe ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn nǹkan lẹ̀ ẹ̀mí wọn ò dúró
láti rí èsì ẹ̀.
láti rí èsì. Ohun táwọn máa ń sọ fún ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wa nìyẹn pé rírò ní tènìyàn
ṣíṣe ń tọ́lọ́run.
Ọlọ́run ló ní ṣíṣe. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wò ó báyìí gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tí wọ́n ti ṣe gbáṣà wò òun la fi máa ń sọ pé pẹ̀lẹ́pẹ̀lẹ́ n tí àwọn wọ̀nyí bá gbélé ayé ṣe òun lá máa ròyìn báyìí.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
tó sì rántí lọ́jọ́ kan gbà tá a wà lórí ètò tí mò ń sọ ọ̀rọ̀ kan wípé bọ́ọ̀ bá tiẹ̀ ní í ṣe dáadáa bọ́ọ̀ fẹ́ ṣe dáadáa rántí ọ̀la.
láti rú ọjọ́ tó ò retí báyìí.
tó ò retí báyìí ṣe iṣẹ́ tó jẹ́ pé nígbà tó ò bá sí mọ́ ohun tó o ṣe ni ó máa sọ̀rọ̀ wípé o wà. ẹni tí ò rò wípé wọ́n lọ lógún ọdún òun ló pàdánù ẹ̀mí rẹ̀ yìí. ẹ jẹ́ káwa náà máa ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ nígbà tí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ìròyìn tí wọ́n ṣì ń wọlé ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà lọ́dọ̀ tí bó lè dùn dìbò
báwo ló ṣe rí.
ẹ wá jẹ́ àwò láti ọdún 1960
tá a ti gbòmìnira.
ọdún 1963 kọ́ náà la gba rìpọ́blíkì o.
63 náà.
63. nígbà tá a ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìṣèjọba alágbádá tá a bá ní ká máa kà ní méní méjì yóò ti tó àwọn ààrẹ mélòó tá a ti ní. ìgbà wo la bẹ̀rẹ̀ níní ààrẹ gan.
bá a bá sì dìbò a lè ní ààrẹ. bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
yẹn ni wípé iye ààrẹ tá a bá ní òun ló sọ iye ìbò tá a ti dì. bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ta ló gbéjọba alẹ̀ falágbádá.
torí ètò ìdìbò tó ń wáyé kì í ṣe alágbádá nìkan ló ń ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ rẹ̀ àwọn ológun náà ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ ètò ìdìbò tí wọ́n sì gbéjọba sílẹ̀ fún alágbádá.
ọdún wo ni alágbádá gbàjọba lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà. Yorùbá ní bọ́mọ bàbá tán.
yóò bá rọ́bà àrọ́bá sì rèé òun ní bàbá ìtàn.
Ọpẹ́yẹmí Amọ́sùsì àwọn ní bá òpè tán.
àbí.
ẹ̀jẹ̀ àná ń bẹ̀ ìgbà ọwọ́ ta láti gbàjọba alágbádá.
ìtàn tí à ń sọ yìí tá a bá ní kí á bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ọdún 1959 ọ̀nà jì ìdìbò àkọ́kọ́ tí ó wáyé lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà ọdún 1959 náà ló wáyé 1959 tá à ń sọ yìí àwọn ìjọba òyìnbó aláwọ̀ funfun ló sì ń ṣàkóso wa ṣùgbọ́n wípé láti fi yan àwọn aṣojú nílé aṣòfin nígbà náà lọ́hùn-ún àti alákòóso tí wọ́n pè ní prime minister nígbà náà eléyìí tí Tafawa Balewa tó fi jẹ́ olóòtú ìjọba tí Nnamdi Azikiwe tó sì jẹ́ ààrẹ nígbà náà àtàwọn míì tí wọ́n jọ ṣe ìṣàkóso lẹ́yìn ọdún 1959 ìdìbò tún wáyé lọ́dún 1963 lẹ́yìn eléhùn náà ni ẹ rí wípé lọ́dún 1966 ìdìtẹ̀gbàjọba ológun wáyé eléyìí tí ó fòpin sí ìjọba Tafawa Balewa àti Nnamdi Azikiwe nígbà náà ó sì jẹ́ pé ìdìtẹ̀gbàjọba alákọ̀ọ́kọ́ yìí òun náà ló wáyé ní ọjọ́ karùndínlógún oṣù kínní ọdún 1966 ológun wà ń bẹ̀ o títí di ọdún 1979 nígbà tí olórí ológun nígbà náà ọ̀gágun Olúṣẹ́gun Ọbásanjọ́ Àrẹ̀mú Òkìkíọlá tí ó ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ ìdìbò nígbà náà ìdìbò alágbádá àkọ́kọ́ wọ́n pè ní presidential election ó ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ rẹ̀ àwọn olùdíje wọ́n díje Awólọ́wọ̀ wà lára àwọn tó díje lábẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú Action Group lẹ́yìn náà Shehu Shagari lábẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú NPP àwọn míì náà tún wà bẹ́ẹ̀ tí wọ́n díje ṣùgbọ́n ẹni tí ó jáwé olúborí nígbà náà òun náà ni Aliyu Shehu Shagari tó sì ṣàkóso títí di ọdún 1983. Lọ́dún 1983 wọ́n tún ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ ìdìbò kejì níbi tí Shehu Shagari ti díje fún sáà kejì. Awólọ́wọ̀ tún díje padà ṣùgbọ́n nígbà náà ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú UPN náà ni wọ́n fi díje. Shehu Shagari ló wọlé ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì nígbà tí wọ́n ń gbáradì láti sọ pé ẹni báyìí ló wọlé àti gbogbo ìgbésẹ̀ tí wọ́n gbé tó di ọjọ́ ọjọ́ tó kẹ́yìn nínú oṣù kejìlá ọdún 1983 ìyẹn December 31st lológun bá tún gbàjọba. Ológun tó gbàjọba ńgbà náà òun náà ni ààrẹ wa lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí, ààrẹ Muhammadu Buhari. Nígbà wọ́n wà nínú kakí wọ́n gbàjọba, wọ́n ṣe títí IBB ìyẹn General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida
táwọn náà tún gbà tí wọ́n gbà á
nínú tó ń pè ní kúùpù náà ní
ìdìtẹ̀gbàjọba.
Lẹ́yìn tí Babangida wá ń ṣe títí o wọ́n bá ní àwọn ó ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ ìdìbò. a ṣàgbékalẹ̀ ìdìbò nígbà tó yá tó dọdún 1993 ìdìbò padà wáyé ní oṣù kẹfà ọjọ́ kejìlá eléyìí tí gbogbo èèyàn mọ̀ káàkiri June 12 tó fi di pé Abíọ́lá ó wọlé o àmọ́ wọn gbé ìjọba fún lẹ́yìn June 12 làwa bọ́ sí ológun padà ológun tún ṣe títí di ọdún 1998 nígbà tí wọ́n tún gbé ìjọba fún ẹni tó jẹ́ olórí ológun nígbà kan rí tó ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ ìdìbò láti fa ìṣàkóso ilé alágbádá lọ́wọ́ ọ̀gágun Olúṣẹ́gun Ọbásanjọ́ nígbà náà. Àwọn ni wọ́n díje lábẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú PDP lákọ̀ọ́kọ́. Ẹni tó ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ ìdìbò ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì lábẹ́ ìjọba ológun òun náà ni ọ̀gágun Abdulsalami Abubakar.
Látọdún 1999 tó wá fi di àkókò yìí tá bá ti wá padà dé a wá sọ iye ètò ìdìbò alágbádá tá a ti ní a sì máa pe àwọn èèyàn wa à ń lọ
à ń bọ̀
àti dé.
Ìgbà ọ̀tun ti dé báwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Ìdìbò àpapọ̀ ọdún 2023 dé bá wa. Ìyípadà tí a ń béèrè fún yóò dé bá wa tí a bá lè jáde ní ìṣọ̀kan láti dìbò wa. Ọjọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dọ́gbọ̀n oṣù kejì ní bí àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà yóò ṣe máa tú jáde lọ sí ibùdó ìdìbò wọn. Kaftan Television Yorùbá yóò máa ṣàfihàn rẹ̀ ní yàjóyàjó lórí ìkànnì 132 DTT tàbí 482 DTH lórí StarTime. Ṣíṣe àfihàn lórí afẹ́fẹ́ bó ṣe ń lọ níbi gbogbo yóò máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní déédéé agogo 8 àárọ̀ títí ìdìbò yóò fi wá sópin. Gbogbo àwọn olólùfẹ́ wa ni yóò ní àǹfààní láti fi èrò àti ìrírí wọn hàn. Rí i dájú pé o yí móhùnmáwòrán rẹ̀ sí Kaftan TV Yorùbá ní ìkànnì 132 DTT tàbí 482 DTH lórí StarTime ní ọjọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dọ́gbọ̀n oṣù.
Open the collection center tomorrow. So this is the update on the situation nationally. But as I said, observers, the media, and all others are also keeping their eyes on the processes and would like to hear from you what you have seen and what more we need to do. In my earlier technology actually optimally performed, generally speaking. We're really happy nationwide. This is the first deployment in a major national election, and the technology has given a good account of itself. Yes, we have lost ballot boxes here and there, but it appears that the target of thuggery is now the bimodal voter accreditation system, the BVAS. But we will continue to protect the process and will continue to proceed courageously to ensure that we conclude this in a very free, fair, and credible manner. We are willing to listen to your comments and take suggestions and observations. But as I said, we are in the middle of the election. So we'll take a maximum of 3 interventions because we have to go back to the situation room and to continue to monitor the situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman, INEC. Please, if you want to ask any question, maybe make your observations or make any comment, kindly indicate. The mic will be brought to you.
Good evening, Chairman. My name is Harry Awurumibe. I report for Prompt News, online newspapers. Mine is, you mentioned when you were briefing us that beavers, from the information you have gathered across the nation, have performed optimally. But then the bad guys are targeting beavers. And knowing now, and you've met with the chiefs of security, now counting has started. And those beavers are going to be brought to racks. And the bad guys, especially in Lagos, and I'm from Imo State, Okigwe in particular, Olo, Osu, they're going to target the beavers and hijack them. What are you doing about that?
Okay. Good evening, the chairman. Good evening, colleagues. I am Princess Ekwi Ajide of the Anambra Broadcasting Service. Sir, I want to know what will happen to the results that will emanate from Urokwe Primary School and Umwezilibu Hall or Zobolo, where the ad hoc workers did not come, but voters volunteered and started the work. So incidentally, in some places, they voted, they did the accreditation and waited for some hours before they started voting. So what will be the outcome of the result from that place? Thank you.
Follow up, sir. Good afternoon, Honorable Chairman. My name is Ogochukwu Okoronkwa and I report for Radio Nigeria. A colleague of mine that went to vote at Tungamaje FCT Health Center polling unit said that out of the 5 polling units, that thugs came and made away ballot boxes belonging to 007 and 014. He now said that the people now mobilized and started beating them before the police came, dispersed the people, and later now went out again with the ballot boxes and the ad hoc staff. So for people that were supposed to vote at 007 and 014, voting ended for them. So she's now asking, will there be another opportunity for them to vote, or is that the end of the voting experience for them? Thank you.
Thank you. Please
Sorry, just
allow
follow up, sir.
Honorable Chairman to answer those questions, please.
Okay,
Please.
sorry, I crave your indulgence. I know that there are many, many people who have many, many good questions to ask and suggestions to make. But we are in the middle of an election. And we have to go back to our situation room. That's why we have limited the interventions to 3. I'm sure there'll be another opportunity for us to respond, to hear from Nigerians. After all, in our situation room, we have the ICCC, the INEC Citizens Contact Center. And through our social media handles, you can still contact us live and direct, and we will be able to respond to the issues you have raised. And so many Nigerians have been responding and drawing our attention to situations to which we have in turn also been responding. So I crave your indulgence. I'll respond to these 3 quick interventions, and then we go back to our situation room. The first one is the security of the beavers, particularly now that we are going to the next stage. At the polling units, remember, after the ballot papers have been sorted out and counted, and the result sheets duly signed by the presiding officers and the agents of political parties, will snap the picture of that result sheet and upload on the IREV portal. So the question is, what happens? This is partly why I said in my opening statement that we met with the security chiefs, the Inspector General of Police, the National Security Advisor, and the Commandant General of the Security and Civil Defense. Yes, people are targeting the beavers, but remember also, in our planning for the election, we have made contingency arrangement. In none of these areas where the beavers was targeted was election not held as a result of the absence of the beavers. The highest number came, as I said, from Safana local government area of Katsina State. And as I said earlier in my first briefing, the police working with the have arrested the hoodlums and recovered 3 out of the 6 beavers, and the manhunt for the other people is ongoing. So we have taken sufficient measures to make sure that we protect the beavers' machines. Remember, we'll use the same machines in the next 2 weeks for the governorship and state assembly elections. So we're not joking with this situation at all. It's critical to the conduct of credible elections. Princess from the Anambra Broadcasting Service, results emanating from a primary school where voters volunteered to conduct the election. I know that the Commission appreciates the work of volunteers. That's why we rely on ad hoc staff or temporary staff. But these are staff engaged by the Commission, not staff who engage themselves on behalf of the Commission as good Samaritans. So I'm not aware of the specific details of this situation you describe in Anambra, but as soon as we go back to the situation room, I will place a call to our resident electoral commissioner in Anambra State. So we'll find a way of dealing with this situation. Finally, the issue of Tunga Maji, raised by our sister from Radio Nigeria, that thugs made away with some of the election materials before voting could be concluded. So are we now going to resume voting in these locations again? So what we'll do immediately after this meeting is to call our resident electoral commissioner for the Federal Capital Territory and find out exactly what the situation is. Surely, if there are still voters on the queue at Tunga Maji, what I have described earlier will apply to that location as well. Anybody who was on the queue before 2:30 will be allowed to vote, even if voting goes well beyond the official closing hours of the polling unit. So we'll find out as soon as we leave this place. So once again, I thank you and I thank Nigerians for their understanding and patience. We are making really very, very steady progress and will continue to ensure that nothing truncates our democracy or truncates the will of the Nigerian people. Our allegiance is to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and our commitment is to the Nigerian people. I thank you very much. But before we close, in case there is need to issue another statement again, we will at short notice inform the media because they are here. But as a matter of course, I would like to invite you at midday tomorrow for the official opening of the National Collation Center for the 2023 general elections. We hope later tomorrow we expect to have some of the results of the election coming from the states, particularly for the presidential election. So the situation room, the collation center for the presidential election will be opened at midday tomorrow, Sunday, the 26th. Thank you very much.
Thank you. On behalf of INEC, we thank all of you for coming, especially the heads of electoral commissions of sister Africa countries. Thank you.
President is 45-year-old Hamisu Isa, who submitted his first school leaving certificate and senior secondary school certificate as the highest academic certificate. Adenuga Sunday Oluwafemi, Boots Party. Adenuga is a presidential candidate of Boots Party in Nigeria. Sonny, as he is fondly called, is 48 years old and is married to Jane Adenuga. They have 3 children. He has not occupied any politics. He worked as a risk and data protection manager at Opel Vauxhall Finance and also security and control at Ford Motor Company. He has a master's in project management, Northumbria University. He has lived or worked in at least 32 states, including the Federal Capital Territory, FCT.
All right, welcome back. That's the press briefing straight from the International Conference Center INEC Chairman Mahmood Yakubu, giving some updates there to journalists who are asking questions about events around the country as elections go on. I think one of the biggest takeaway there is that INEC has postponed the elections in about 141 polling units. That's what Mr. Yakubu said just a moment ago, including polling units in Imo State, we have Edo State, we have Bayelsa State, and so much more. Well, anyway, we've been joined in the studio now by a legal practitioner and analyst, Mr. Samuel Iyensekeng Jr. He joins us now to speak about the elections today and some of the observations he's had while going across the polling units in Abuja. Welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, before we go ahead, our phone lines are open, so you can call in to join the conversation and ask your questions. All right, let's go straight into it. What's your assessment so far?
From this jurisdiction where I am, the FCT, it has been a free and fair election. But the report we're having from Lagos State, it's been what we call the very unfortunate scenarios. We've seen some celebrities coming out to say there are pockets of violence all around. We've seen some other personalities from Surulere polling units, from the video evidence we've seen. We have incidents of electoral violence coming from Edo State, even from the governor's ward. These are alleged reports, though. It has not been confirmed officially. We have other scenes from some parts of Nigeria, Bayelsa, and I even actually saw one of the videos from the east when one of these political talks was actually apprehended. So I don't know. I will not say we've had a very perfect election. INEC, from what we've seen, they've done their little best, and I believe they should do more. And the Electoral Act actually provides for a situation like this, where there are pockets of violence, or where a trust, or where voting cannot take place, for such areas to be cancelled outrightly, then another election will be conducted. The Electoral Act, by the enabling sections, they actually provides for that. So it's within the powers of INEC to actually, they should do more. They should be up to their task. They should make sure that the votes of Nigerians actually count. But so far, from what I've observed, I went through the polling unit as a CSO observer today. For what I give them some little thumbs up, but they have to be 100% effective. They have to be 100% effective. It's not, elections are not won from the metropolitan cities. Elections, the gauge of elections are the ones that are conducted in the hinterlands, in the creek, in the villages, in the grassroots level. Those are the areas where elections will be gauged as to how they are free and fair. I expect INEC to be up to the task. And we also have an incident where electorate actually complained that voters have not been adequately trained as to the use of the beavers. That is quite unfortunate. I don't expect to hear such things at this stage. So
you mean voters, or you mean the INEC staff?
Sorry, the coppers, the ad hoc staff, along with the INEC staff, who are actually supposed to conduct these elections. We had instances whereby they could not operate the beavers. It is I don't know. That is incompetence at the highest level. So I expect INEC to up their game and see how the vote of Nigerians can count.
Okay,
so far, it's been fair.
Okay, you said 100% can be expected.
Like
you said. So most of the polling units where we've seen issues, especially in Lagos right now, it's mostly due to the fact that probably the boxes were hijacked. Is that equally the INEC staff's fault?
No, that's not the INEC staff's fault. That is the failure of the electoral system. Okay. The last time I came here, I urged political parties to restrain and talk to their supporters.
All right, just a moment. Let's hear from one of our callers. Good afternoon. This is our live telecast on the 2023 elections.
Hello,
good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I am Reverend J.C. Nwachukwu calling from Karishi in Abuja.
All right, Reverend Nwachukwu. Please go ahead. Tell us what's been happening today on your end.
I just listened to Professor Mahmood speaking on the giving account of what is happening all over the Federation, especially where talks and people are making effort to rig the election. There is, a social media matter that has gone viral, where I believe maybe some of you must have listened to it or heard it, where the PDP presidential candidate and his running mate, and Aminu Tambua, somebody recorded their whole discussion on how to rig the election. So, and anybody that listens to that, voice discussion will never doubt it, and even want it, that it was those two men that were discussing.
All right, I have to cut you short there.
It is a very serious
All right,
one.
I have to cut you short there. That recording has been proved to be doctored, actually. But I'd like to hear what has been the case for you. Did you go out to vote, or have you heard any reports from your own region, your area?
No, from our own end here, the whole thing has been very peaceful, and some of us have gone out and voted and returned. But with the report of what we are hearing now, talks here, people carrying ballot boxes there, and all these things are instigated actions, and it's not done ordinarily. It must have been paid agents that are doing all these things. And who are these? Who are those who doing? Who are their masters? It must be the candidates that are vying for one post or the other in the country. So I think INEC himself should take things like this very serious and carry out a deeper investigation to know where the root of the country's problem. To find out the root of the country's problem as far as free and fair and credible election is concerned.
All right. Before you go, I hope you're still there. I'd like to get your predictions very quickly. How do you see this turning out?
Well, as a servant of God, I believe that God will have his way. And that's why we are troubled over things like this. By the grace of God, we are looking unto him that the best candidates will emerge, for the country, because we all cry to him. We are helpless, we are not armed, but we believe that our weapons are not carnal. They are strong, stronger through God to the pulling down of strongholds. And the enemies of righteousness in this country are the stronghold of the country. And I believe that God will arise against them and bring them down.
Thank you so much. Thanks for calling. I was almost transported to a sermon.
That's a religious talk. That's actually a religious talk. But I keep saying this. I'm a Christian. Yes, I keep saying this. Elections are not won by rhetorics. Elections are not won by long sermons. Elections are won by capacity.
Yes.
Who is able to galvanize? Who is able to push the system? Who is able to maintain a balance between what is actually the opposite of what is in reality and what is on ground, and who's able to push the electorate to convince them to actually vote for them. That is how elections are won. Then you can do an aftermath prayer for God to show mercy or show his grace, then and another, not just to holistic hope on God that angels will come and put their hands on.
I like to buttress this point, because there's a part of the Bible that actually says faith without works is nothing. So as you have your faith, you have to work and actually come out to exercise your faith.
So I want Nigerians to always know some of these things is actually beyond prayer. There are some certain things we can actually push and resolve ourselves, and we ask God to do the rest for us.
From your analysis, is it too early to draw some level of or prediction, so to speak? When you say work being done, who are you saying doing the work at the moment?
It's too early at this
just
stage.
Just a moment before you answer that question. Let's take another call. Go ahead. All right. Good afternoon. This is live telecasts. We lost that call. Please go ahead.
Yes, it's too early at this stage. But the failures we've been having is that the elections, in terms of actually the people, the prominent parties and their candidates actually harnessing, actually collecting this vote, it's been fair. For now, categorically, it's too premature to say this is who's leading, this is who's at the back, this is who at the center. It is fair for the three parties. And more importantly, there seems to be this seemingly silence from the north as to how the voting and the pattern of voting is actually going. And that is a decider. The north will decide who's going to be the president of Nigeria 2023.
They have the final
conclusion. Exactly.
But before you answer, let's hear from another caller. Good afternoon. This is our live telecast on Kaftan TV on the 2023 elections. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Sunday, calling from Jalingo.
All right, Mr. Sunday. How is it in Jalingo right now? What's going on?
Jalingo is very, very cool.
Okay.
All right. Let's have it. What's your analysis so far? What's your take? How are you seeing things today?
I voted for Atmagami. It was 002. Then the place, there was turnout. People came out to mass. And people are deciding who to vote. But unfortunately, there's a question that came to my mind that these beavers, you cannot use beavers to vote. After accreditation, they will issue you the ballot paper of which you used to vote. Then after that, then my question is this is like old method of doing it before. I thought we are going to use beavers to vote. We are going to thumbprint through beavers.
Okay.
So I was very, very surprised. If like that place I voted is my opponent, I can sponsor somebody to go and cause voting. Because once you are accredited, they will mark use ink, mark your thumb. After marking it, they will not cross-check how many people that could not, the beavers could not accredit. So I was very, very surprised. That means there's likely somebody may likely sponsor overvoting through that process. So that's my take. I was very, very surprised. It was old method of doing it, and we are still using the beavers to deceive ourselves.
All right. Thank you for calling. If you can remind me your name again, please, before you go.
My name is Sunday, calling from Jalingo.
All right, Mr. Sunday. Thank you. Just before you continue, for Mr. Sunday, the beavers actually just verifies that you are who you say you are. In the past, people could come in and
Osho State election. It was illicitly it became the subject of how the last Osho State election tribunal judgment actually came out. Something of concern, and this caller has raised a fundamental issue that I wish the INEC rec in the state can actually, he's in the best position to answer that question. But he has seemingly raised a question whereby the beavers is not a full conclusion as to the how the electoral process should go. He has also made mention that it can actually create a loophole where overvoting can actually come in. So how do we resolve this impasse?
And the issue now is you also raised something earlier, which is that some of the ad hoc staff are not.
They cannot even from the feelers.
And the funny thing is, most likely, the experts are suggesting that what happened in the Osun might not have been even malicious.
Yes.
It was simply someone forgetting to, once you are accredited.
Yes.
The deputy director for ICT on INEC the other day was explaining that once it pops up, it doesn't mean you've been accredited. The person still has to log it in. Otherwise, it doesn't register. Otherwise, it's just as if you showed, okay, you are here, but you didn't acknowledge it.
Yes.
So these are other things that could, come up. But, hopefully, after a series of tests that INEC has had, they can perfect it this time around. But, that being said, what other issues do you see springing up here?
They've raised another fundamental. Yes, the other issues I'm going to is the issue of electoral violence. At this stage of our democracy, it's so shameful, it's so baffling, it's so appalling that anybody, any political party, their supporters, thugs, will still find it so convenient for them to carry guns and start chasing voters, to start stealing ballot balls. This is actually the main point. The beavers is, I think, one way or the other, the issue can be resolved. But whereby we have pockets of electoral violence, this issue should be looked into. I think we have different situation rooms. The body I come from, the Nigerian Bar Association, they have their situation room for this election. The Nigerian police, we are hearing the situation too, where they have their situation room. So please, I'm urging the security agencies, anything they can do to safeguard lives, the electorate, and also to make sure that this process of electioneering and voting is actually fair. Yes, I'm urging the security agencies, they should they've been trying. I must comment from the video evidence and what has been going on, I must commend them. They should please be at their best.
Don't you think we as electorates, we also need to do better?
They've actually be different orientation courses. They've actually be information passed to. But you see, these people are adamant. They have refused to turn a new leaf. Like and also too, there's a very unpleasant situation coming from Lagos. I saw the Surulere the attack there, and I saw a prominent Nollywood actress actually raising a fundamental issue. I saw Femi Falana's son Fast also raising issues of electoral violence. Please, all the security agencies at this point to please intervene to see how, and if the electoral violence is something the INEC cannot manage, they should cancel that areas and call for a fresh election.
Okay. Well, there's just been a video right now that I just sent to one of our MTR guys from Lugbe Primary School, LA Primary School in Lugbe, about the situation going on right now. There's been a lot of violence there equally, and we just hope the security operatives, they come in to check soon. Over to you, Amadi.
All right. Back to the election analysis. When the question is brought up about intentional harm to your opponents,
yes,
does the Electoral Act not, kind of allow these things to happen in areas where there's violence?
Yes.
What happens using the Electoral Act as a standard?
It's an outright cancellation.
So doesn't that make it too easy for nefarious persons?
It doesn't make it easy for nefarious persons. The same persons who came for that be law abiding, and I trust the security agencies. They should be up to their task soonest to make sure that this process we must get it right. We have grown as a country to still be hearing patches and issues of electoral violence. We've been doing this thing since after 1960. So what do we still need again? What do we still need again? And I on the issues of electoral violence, I will blame the major political parties and their supporters and the stakeholders there. They are the cause of this electoral violence. With all due respect to them, yes. If they've taken steps to restrain the electoral, I saw a situation from Kogi State where a road, like an express road, has been turned into like a gully or like seemingly like a small well. And I don't know how true that video is, but if that is the situation, it's very, very bad. Yes, and that place is said to be one of the strongholds of one of these major political parties, and they don't want people to access it and electoral man. It is not a good one. It is not a good one. We should grow beyond this. People should be allowed to cast their vote without fear or intimidation. They should be allowed, and let the best candidate, let them win the election. If you know you've done as a political party and as a candidate, you've done your homework. You spoke to the election. Allow the people decide their fate.
Sorry to cut you short. In allowing people decide their fate, now that INEC has, of course, moved some voters and for their polling unit to move to March 11th, what do you think is going to happen now?
Today's elections, we have the National Assembly elections alongside the presidential. I don't think it will have any. Yes. Okay. Yes, I don't think it will have any decisive effect on the presidential elections. I don't think it will have any fundamental effect. Where we have an effect is the ones for the National Assembly. If there are pockets of violence, such things can be, and also to the new Electoral Act has actually given the power of the REC and the presiding officers at some of these communities in similar areas when there seems to be violence to call for outright cancellation. I urge them, where some of these issues have arisen, to exercise their powers as donated to them by the Electoral Act and cancel those results and let them be fresh elections. That is where we can understand that we are getting it right.
All right, let's talk about some of the issues leading up to the elections.
Yes.
And I'd like to get your thoughts on them. We had, first of all, a House of Reps candidate in Rivers, if I'm correct, Rivers State.
Yes,
it was caught with about a certain, I think, how much was that again?
$50,000.
Yeah, just a little above $50,000.
All right.
Is it 50,000? I think it was 500,000
actually.
$500,000.
I know the translation is about 200 and something million naira.
Yes.
So there was that. It was caught with dollars. And then we saw somewhere else, some other persons were caught with different amounts of money. And then the EFCC came out to say they caught someone. They did not disclose who this person was or their names or identity. Was caught with about 30 million naira of the new notes. You know, taking all of this into account, you know, how do you envision this could have happened? You know, the cash policy and all that, wasn't it supposed to end most of all of this? 30 million naira, and there are Nigerians who don't have cash right now and who will be very happy to have just 3,000 naira out of that money, and you know, it's just there. And also, what's your take on the way the EFCC reports it? Is it that they're just trying to avoid social media trial or what? People say they are not allowing naming and shaming. Is there anything wrong with that?
Well, sorry, before you answer the question, you have to put into consideration that they actually named one, the Port Harcourt one, and then the other one.
But that was not the EFCC, that was the River State Police Command.
Yes, okay.
You know, responding directly to your question, so I don't forget, you know, under our criminal jurisprudence, there's what we call presumption of innocence, Section 36(4) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I personally, I think I've taken the authorities to court. This issue as to bringing out suspect before media, even before they are investigated and properly charged to court. I disnounce it because it's by eventually some of these suspects, when there are no credible evidence against them, they are discharged and acquitted. So what happens to the media trial you've done against them? So I think the EFCC are trying to be professional. They are trying to be noble and to keep with that principle of presumption of innocence. It's not too fair. For now, it's just an allegation. And so because they brought these issues and because they brought this evidence, it's not yet conclusive proof as to the commission of crime. So we should give that to them. As a lawyer, and it also borders on fair hearing. Then coming down to the issues as to some politicians being caught with cash. You know, I've met some politicians and I've read a lot about politicians in Nigeria. I've also witnessed, see politicians do some of the things they do. If you are looking for a miracle in this modern day, you can find it from a Nigerian politician. Yes, I wonder, cash that is so difficult to get, cash that is so difficult to find in view of this Naira redesign and all the surrounding issues with them. Some persons are still being caught with this money. It's appalling. And the only thing at this stage is that investigations should be conducted on these persons. Know the origin of where this money came from, the perpetrators of them, where in spite of these policies that is on guard, even the ordinary people, some of us, as we are standing here, we cannot boast of sizable or even little money. We are basically living on transfers. So how are these people getting this cash? Where is there a connivance between them and bankers? What is actually happening? And because I feel this present administration, they've actually some of these policies as to Naira design might not be too favorable, but it has actually tackled to some extent the issue of vote buying. It's not so obvious. It's not also saying that when someone is even caught with the sum of 1 million in this election, that person will be apprehended. And so there's a similar progress in that aspect now. You can see people coming to the polling unit I visited today. I could see people voting with their conscience, voting with their hearts. People who are not induced by any aggrandizement of whatsoever. They are coming out to vote peculiarly for their candidate of their choice. Is a kudos to this present government. And I expect more of this in the coming elections, that these issues as to vote buying should be denounced totally. But however, I also feel the government of the day, after this election, they should reconsider these money policies so that the ordinary Nigerians are actually suffering.
Okay, now away from that, still on vote buying.
Yes.
The INEC chairman, I beg your pardon, EFCC chairman actually came out to say, okay, some politicians have actually moved away from physical cash.
Yes.
Now they use that cash to buy probably foodstuff, and then you see them actually distributing to the electorates. Do you think this should actually be tackled as soon as possible? Or is there a way this can be fixed? Is this even punishable?
Vote buying is totally condemned under the Electoral Act. It's not allowed. That is unallowed.
Okay, so whether we use cash,
yes,
or
if there are clear evidence that money was transferred to induce voter, there is a nexus.
Okay.
Yes, there is a nature. They can go for that, apprehend those persons, and let them be put to the process of trial. It's anything of vote buying in whatever form is condemnable and it is criminalized under the new Electoral Act. It's something that cannot be allowed to stand.
All right. Vote buying and vote selling. Interestingly,
yes.
So, but just before we take a look at the report,
Yes.
I'd just like to add to the conversation where you said they should investigate. And the thing is, in this particular case, it's quite easy. The notes that were issued to banks have serial numbers on them. It's very easy to trace where that money came from and find it wherever it is. But I think the issue with what we see with EFCC, ICPC, sorry, is the fact that we see the headline and then we don't see anymore. You know, we've seen this. We know someone was caught with 30 million naira new cash, but there's probably never going to be a follow-up.
But I think the circumstances are going to change this time around. We have some CSO who are actually putting pressure to make sure that people who actually offend this Electoral Act, they are brought to book. We have Yaga, who's at the forefront of this. We have other credible CSOs. I think there will be a difference from the normal in this present election. I can trust the CSOs who are actually working behind the scene to make sure that people who are actually guilty of this vote buying and who are caught and apprehended, they actually face justice.
All right, let's take a look now at a report from our reporter in Plateau, Jos, Mavis Ako, on the electoral violence that she's witnessed over there. Let's take a look. We'll be right back.
A peace concert with theme Strengthening Mechanism for Early Response to Electoral Violence in the Streets of Jos, Plateau State. In preparation and the show of readiness ahead of the 2023 general elections, a group of civil society organizations on the eve of the 2023 polls urges Nigerians to participate fully in the general elections by casting their votes. During the peace concert, while using different means to promote peace in the states, the group educates electorates on how to identify red flags during the election and after.
What we are telling people is that go out and vote, but don't fight. So we are looking forward to an election that is not only free, it's not only credible, it's not only fair, but it's violence free. So for a red flag, what we need to do is that what is unusual about our environment? What is it that we are seeing that we have not seen before? In terms of, okay, what is the response of the community? How are the community doing their normal business? Are shops open? Are people going about doing their normal business? Are people standing on the streets doing nothing? Are people going back to their normal businesses? So these are red flags. What are people doing? How are people responding? How are people using their social media to respond to some of the issues during or after the election?
The area of concern in Plateau State for these peace concerts is just north and just south, the group says.
People of Tudunwada community. Okay, this project was conducted in it's being conducted in two local governments, that's Jos South and Jos North. For Jos South, this peace concert is running concurrently in Kuya at Bukuru Market, while we are here at Tudunwada, Jos North. We just want to sensitize the community and the electorate to vote wisely, to shun violence, because we know the dangers and the implications of electoral violence. Jos North and Jos South in Plateau State are volatile because it is a mixed local government. We have people from different religions and people from different ethnicities.
Meanwhile, electorate charges Nigerians to vote as their votes will determine the future of the nation.
I'm going to vote tomorrow because I want a good future for my children and good future for Nigeria. I will do my part. Please go out there and vote. Put your mind there. Get the right person on the seat, and let Nigeria be great.
Just as Nigerians anticipated for the election day, they also anticipate to know who will emerge the winner and leader of Nigeria for the next 4 years. From Jos Plateau State, Mavis Ako, Captain TV News.
To his high-handed governorship and his attempt at supporting Yoruba president. Kwankwaso was re-elected for a second term in office as governor of Kano State from 29th May 2011 to 29th May 2015. On 22nd February 2022, Kwankwaso set up the National Movement as a political movement against the staying power of the two major political parties, the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party. He co-opted the new Nigeria People's Party as the political wing of the movement and became the national leader of the party on 30th March 2022. Kwankwaso married his wife, Salamatu Rabiu Musa, in 2000, and they are blessed with 6 children. His running mate for the office of the vice president is 57-year-old Odiri Idahosa Isaac, with first school leaving certificate, WASC certificate, bachelor's degree in automobile engineering, and master's doctorate as his highest certificate. Osakwe Felix Johnson, National Rescue Movement. Felix Johnson Osakwe is from Okwani local government of Delta State. He was born in Ilesha, Osun State, where he spent most of his youth and attended the Apostolic Primary School, Ijebu, Jesha. He also attended Calvary Bible College, Osun State, where he obtained diploma in theology. Osakwe speaks a very good percentage of the Yoruba language, as if he's from there, because of his very strong sense of understanding a language without waiting to be taught. Johnson was a presidential candidate of the PDP in the 2019 elections and the co-vener of the Raise Nigeria Again movement, a network of patriotic Nigerians devoted to the ideals of social reform and national cohesion, and the presidential candidate of the National Rescue Movement from the 2023 presidential elections in Nigeria. Felix Johnson Osakwe studied legal and criminal justice at Ashworth University, Atlanta, Georgia, USA. He further obtained bachelor's degree in theology and master's degree in theology from Freedom University and Theological Seminary, USA. He also attended Billy Graham Evangelical Seminary, Florida, USA. He serves as the Director of Executive Affairs, UPF Nigeria, where he engages actively with critical stakeholders and duty bearers in social, economic, and political spaces within and outside Nigeria, lending his diplomatic skills and expertise to peace brokerage and crisis management, intersecting corporate excellence with social good. He also worked under the teachings of the Redeemed Christian Church of God as an evangelist some years before being blessed to found his own ministry abroad. His humble submission as a clergyman in the United States of America.
Ẹ máa fọkàn síbẹ̀ o. Ẹ máa fọkàn síbẹ̀ o. Ọmọ tó wà níbí fọkàn sí o.
Added, subtracted.
This polling booth, the polling booth where I voted, my own polling booth, the Ogunrege polling booth, is very peaceful. It's been conducted, in my view, very well, very professionally. I think that everything has been done right. And I hope that this is the same all across Ogun State and all across Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome back. Those were some updates there. Collation and counting of votes are already ongoing in a lot of the polling units. Well, anyway, speaking about counting of polling units, I'd like to get your thoughts as to how, if there could be a change in the loyalty of some voters. We have this saying where they say this state is traditionally APC, is traditionally PDP, and thereabouts. Do you think loyalty still counts this time? Will states always vote the way we know them to vote?
You know, it's as if the camel has finally, not really the back has been broken of the camel, but a hammer has hit the camel's back. And so, you know, one of the incidents of or one of the peculiarity of our electoral system before now has to do with the issue of vote buying. So, in the absence of vote buying, you will see people voting for their conscience. We have a PDP who was there for 16 years, and the APC is actually blaming PDP for the atrocities and everything that's been done in Nigeria. And you have an APC now. I don't know how to describe the APC, but the language will be better given out as soon as they leave off, as soon as they're out of the office. A better word will be placed on them. As it stands now, mostly for the enlightened places like the metropolitan cities, there seems to be a simile from what the fillers, the unauthorized counting we've been seeing, and not the INEC reported ones, and the figures that have been coming out do not actually seem too nice for the main opposition party, which is PDP. And I hope they are able to put their acts in order from the northern part of Nigeria, which will be a decider for this election. So the issue of this vote buying and engagement and aggrandizement has actually kind of, the absence of it has shaped this present election, and it has been a little bit departure from what we used to see from the past. The only issue that we've not really been able to nip in the bud has to do with electoral violence of different forms. And as we're going into the process, election is actually a continuous process. I honestly believe that issue will be tackled by the different security agencies, and we can say we have a free and fair election.
All right, I think that's fair enough. Some Nigerians are still out there now trying to round things up with voting. But as regards, you know, in the process, how tedious do you see it being, you know, having a lot of new voters and so on and so forth? Do you see INEC being able to beat the record they had in 2019? In 2015, I believe elections held on a Saturday and results were announced on a Wednesday or Tuesday. 2019, it was on a Monday, if I recall. Do you see a change this time around, or could it be the reverse?
This election is too close to call. It will be more tedious than the previous election. There seems to be feelers, more particularly from the northern region, where we have not heard anything. I don't know if anybody have seen any scores from the northern region, and that means something is actually unfolding from that part of it. So I think we'll see a longer time, just like the 2015, and because collation will take place from the first end. It goes to the regional end, it goes to the state, it goes to the national collection of results in different parts. So I don't foresee a situation where results are announced. I cannot predict them. I'm not a staff of INEC, but I don't see it. I think INEC is trying to beat their previous standards. Yes, they are trying to learn from their previous mistakes and build upon that. But I kind of give them kudos. Apart from the issue, the skirmish as to the BVS not being effectively implemented or done in this election process. In other aspects, they've actually tried, and one other thing we must give, and they are not partisan. Yes, the polling unit I had my eyes on, and I looked at it. They maintained their position as an umpire. Yes, the first election I voted as in Nigeria was done in 1999, and it was quite unfortunate that in the room where I was supposed to thumbprint, I saw one of the security personnel coming to thumbprint, and I said, I wonder, but I don't think we can have that in this present dispensation. So it's actually a kudos for the INEC, and I pray they keep it up.
Right, but speaking about neutrality,
Yes.
there's a trending tweet now of a presiding officer saying Peter Obi must win. It was a core member though.
You see some of these
of course,
things.
she deleted later,
Hold on,
but it's
hold
too
on.
late.
You see some of these things. A core member is an ad hoc staff. He's not a full regulated staff of the INEC.
But she was the presiding officer.
She is the presiding officer. That can be looked aside. She's not a full staff of the INEC. Where I think at that level of being a copper, I think she still has some years to learn, and she's actually being indoneted, or she's actually being carried by the passion of the moment.
So are you trying to say that's not a punishable offense?
It's actually it's within the INEC laws. It's if she was a staff of the INEC, she has offended the rules as a civil service, but she's an ad hoc staff. I think there must be penalty, kind of, but she can be suspended from further duties as an INEC ad hoc. So she allowances or salary can be withheld, which is one of the worst punishments, because she has put in labor and effort, and so I think and also too that instance should not be used to judge the whole staffs or personnel of INEC. This is just one peculiar instance. In every grain, you must see the one that is bad, and in every workforce, you must have an incident of one person. It's everywhere. It can be, but INEC so far, from what we've seen from their professional staff, they've done well. They've done well. I can attest to their neutrality. They've actually been fair.
All right, so let's talk about,
You can go.
Let's talk about the EFCC's role in all of this, in trying to curb vote buying.
Yes.
How well do you think they'll be able to achieve that? And is this something that they should be of utmost priority to them?
The EFCC,
is it within their
the EFCC within the sphere of the operation? I can tell you, the last time I talked about more of intelligence gathering. I don't know whether they watch this program. They seems to be doing that now, and it's a kudos. And with this effective, because I heard series of instances whereby they bust people who wanted to go into this vote buying, catch stakeholders of political parties with this money with them. Yes, I saw it. I read it on the news. So that means for them to get to this stage, that means their men and personnel, they are in the field actually trying to gather intelligence. It's a plus on their parts. And it's actually, I urge them not to relent at all, to do everything within their sphere of operation to apprehend these people who want to induce voters and people who want to cause a cog in the wheel of our electoral process.
Okay, still speaking on EFCC. Now, we saw a video of EFCC officials moving to one of the presidential candidates' polling units. And of course, that begs a lot of questions, and there's been a lot of talks.
in that particular candidate you're referring to, in the last election, there was this issue as to bullion van. I think, was it before the election? Or during the process of the election?
It was just
the eve of the election. And so for the EFCC to step in now is a plus. And we are not hearing that incidents again, because that thing kind of actually worked in the mind of Nigerians, that this candidate allegedly, bullion van went to his house. Although one of the representative of him said the bullion van missed its way, and it ought not to be. Let's not even go. Let's not even go there. And so for the EFCC now to actually go and check these places, I really commend them. They can just, because these are people, whether you like it or not, they ought to be independent, but somehow forces tend to pull the belt for them to maintain this mood and this way they are going about it. It's actually commendable.
All right, let's go on a quick break now, and let's see if we can get in touch with one of our reporters, particularly from perhaps Lagos, where it's getting quite hot. We'll go on a short break. When we return, we hope to be in contact with our reporter. Stay with us.
Provided him the opportunity to serve as a man of God. That is called the Solution Certified Missionary for Nigerians, Africans, and other race. His running mate for the office of the Vice President is 72.
That's about presidential. Also for senatorial, we came out with 5 booklets, and each booklet has 100 copies, 100 pages. So we have the four copies, like the booklets, we have to use 4 booklets, 3 use, which is going to be striped out from the front and from the back, just to nullify it. So for the remaining 1 booklet, for the senatorial, we have 1 left on it, and we have 100 pages on it. So that means we have 99 copies from the senatorial. And that's that about senatorial. So going to House of Representatives, we came out with 5 booklets also. And now we have 4 unused booklets left, untouched, being touched at all. And now we have, out of the last booklet that we used, we have just one leaf left. So that's to make it 99 books. And that's that about the count. So we inform you about it.
I mean, to miss here. If you are called juicy, color juicy.
Captain, what's your problem? Just few minutes. Don't say her. Just look at you are talking people. You are saying her. What's your problem? It's okay. One side.
Ọlọ́pàá kan náà dẹ́wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ náà. Ọlọ́pàá ti dá àdọ̀tún PDP náà tí ó fi armless sí iwájú Sunday ló sọ̀rọ̀. Ṣé Sunday gbowó àríwó bẹ̀? Sunday yọ márùn kún yòó. Ó ti yẹ kí n sọ̀rọ̀ lọ, ajá náà dẹ̀ di glass. Iná sí wà lórí ajá, èyí tí wọ́n ta ẹ̀kọ́. Ilẹ̀ ní ajá ọmọ látẹ̀kọ̀, ajé ọ̀tẹ̀ òkè ara. Sunday ló sọ̀rọ̀. Mo ya fọ́tò náà ya fọ́tò wọ̀dí ló wà bẹ́ẹ̀. Máa kọ́ fà mí o, mo sọ fún ẹ o. Wọ́n lè ló sọ̀rọ̀ ta ló wà bẹ́ẹ̀ láwọn sọ pé tító wọ́n náà ṣò ṣò ẹ̀rọ ti yẹ. Àti àwọn àti mi náà àti ètò ilé gíláàsì ó ya lẹ́nu.
Lọ́jọ́ kó jáde.
Àwọn ọmọ pọ̀ gan ìlà náà wà ìlà náà yọjú àti àwọn àyàn ìjọba máa ń dábẹ́ fẹ́ yìí máa wọ̀ ẹjọ́ rẹ̀ kékeré yìí. Ìjọba.
Ẹ máa fọkàn síbẹ̀ o.
Added, subtracted.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. We'll be talking now with reporter in Nasarawa State. Okay, I think we lost that call. Let me see if I can get her back on the line. Just a moment. Well, anyway, we want to get reports now from Nasarawa, which is still in the Middle Belt region. We already got report from Niger State. In Abuja here, we've also gotten reports from reporters across the capital and also from the Coalition Center there.
Dear customer, the MTN number you will...
All right, I think she seems to have gone offline at the moment. Well, anyway, let's still take some more updates. When we return, we'll get to talk with another one of our correspondents across the nation. Stay with us.
Yo, as you can see, people are getting very, very frustrated at Akwakuma Secondary School. People are getting frustrated already. Up to now, there is no INEC presence. They want to use this to disenfranchise the Southeast from voting. People are still patiently waiting.
Miss Evelyn Epele from Nasarawa State to give us some updates on what's going on there. Good afternoon, Miss Evelyn. What's it at on your end there?
Hi, Amadine. I'm fine, thank you. It's
afternoon.
actually still going on here that some polling units are counting their votes now. But the weather changed slightly a few minutes ago, about 20 minutes ago, and it's now raining in some parts of the state. I am back to Nabwi polling units, not too far from Marba area, and also I have gone towards the Karu axis as well. I'm back to National State, but the challenge we're having right now is that some of the roads are blocked, and so even people who could find their way to the polling units to vote are having trouble going back home under the rain.
All right. Other than that, the weather conditions, have there been any other issues, including technical issues with accreditation or perhaps the late coming of INEC staff? Any such issues?
Yes. In one of the polling units, one of the things we encountered there was the beavers. Some people, especially those people who transferred their polling units from one state to the other and chose Nasarawa State during the upgrade, when they are being checked and accredited, their details do not appear on the beavers machines, and so they are not able to vote. So those people also claim that the numbers on the INEC helpline has been unreachable all day, and so they haven't even been able to complain and report the situation in their polling units. Another thing is in terms of the setup, some polling units did not have cubicles where people could vote privately. So there were times where people would vote and other people waiting to vote could literally see their choice, when they thumbprint, and that would easily cause arguments and people arguing about those who didn't vote for their preferred candidate. So there was that. People didn't enjoy privacy of voting in some polling units due to lack of cubicles.
Okay, all right. For those polling units that the INEC officials came in late, was the time extended for the electorate in those polling units?
Sorry, say that again. I didn't get that.
For the polling units where INEC officials came in late, was time extended for people to vote? Did they close by 2, or they actually extended the time for them?
Yes, there were some polling units where INEC officials didn't show up until about 9, even 10 a.m. In some places, it was even past noon. So some of those polling units still have people voting. I'm sure they must have concluded because I left there sometime around 3 p.m. But even at 3 p.m., some people were still voting, yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Evelyn Apele. We really appreciate the updates we're getting from you. Thanks.
Sure, thank you, Amadin.
Stay safe. All right, you heard it there from our Nasarawa reporter. I don't know if you have any comments on what's going on over there.
In Nasarawa?
Yes.
It's just an extension of Abuja. We don't see, I still see a free and fair election from Nasarawa State, because Nasarawa is just at the back of Abuja, and whatever happens in Abuja kind of extend to Nasarawa State, and rain is a natural occurrence, so it's nothing peculiar. For rain to fall is even a blessing. Jokingly, it's a blessing to fall on an election day. That means we're going to see one of the best elections. But I see a free and fair election. I hope to see a very perfect election coming from Nasarawa State.
All right, let's see if we can get our Lagos correspondent on the line. I don't know if she's ready. Let me hear from her.
I'm ready.
All right. Yes. Good afternoon. Good evening. This is ORILE'DE from Lagos. How are you doing, ORILE'DE?
Yeah, I'm fine here.
All right. Tell us what's going on there. We've been hearing some alarming reports of violence and intimidation in some parts of Lagos, particularly in Surulere, Ikate, and so on and so forth. What can you tell us about that? What's going on?
Yeah, there's been some reports, really, but where I am presently, there is no form of violence whatsoever. The voters are calm, and they are quietly listening to the collation.
Okay.
The collation is ongoing right now, and the voters are listening. They are listening to it right now. So where I am, there is no form of violence, even though there are some parts of Lagos that are recording violence.
All right. So you mentioned collation and vote counting. Did the election start on time? For collation to be going on around this time, how did it go? Was there hiccups or it went smoothly?
Yes, the voting did not start early because the INEC officials did not come on time. They came a bit late, so that's why the voting time took a longer period. And that's why collation is just starting.
Okay. All right. That's good to hear. But in any case, are there any other issues in terms of technical issues, accreditation, and so on and so forth?
No, there was no technical issue. Their votes smoothly. It was so smooth and swift.
Okay, so
just after they came late, after the INEC officials came late, nothing whatsoever. Okay. And as it is, we heard that peace has been restored in the areas where there is violence. That is Mikate and Surulere. There is presence of policemen right there right now, so peace has been restored.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ORILE'DE.
Thank you, ORILE'DE, for your updates and your reports. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll try and get a call now to our correspondent in the area in question. But before that, let's take more looks at some of the collations ongoing. When we return, we hope to be in touch with our reporter on the scene.
Yo, as you can see, people are getting very, very frustrated at Akwakuma Secondary School. People are getting frustrated already. Up to now, there is no INEC presence. They want to use this to disenfranchise the Southeast from voting. People are still patiently waiting.
wọ́n gòkè wá sí i. wọ́n ṣẹlẹ̀ mọ́ ọgbà yìí sí
àwọn ọmọ yẹn tó bá dùn tó bá ti sinmi wọn ní ọ̀rọ̀ ìjọ ó lè dá wọn wá wò ó
welcome back. All right, now we're with Grace Kofi on the line, our reporter from Lagos, Etiosa, I believe, and environs. Grace, how are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you too?
I'm good, I'm good.
Fine, thank you.
All right, we've been hearing a lot of stories about the polling unit and the region you're in, the local government. I would like to know what's going on there.
Okay, yeah, for the polling unit I'm in, of course, the electoral officials came in very late. I mean, very late, almost 4 hours at the beginning of the voting electoral process. And the voters, they have expressed their displeasure. And in fact, they are so angry, and many people are, in solidarity and saying, we must vote, we must vote, we must vote. And this electoral officer came in very late, and they had to apologize without giving a specific reason as to why they came late. Though the voting exercise has begun, then, voters are still casting their votes, and they are hoping that everything will be done before the time of the voting, finally ends.
All right. What about reports of violence? Did you witness any of that, or did you see any of that?
Yeah, so far, there's been no report of violence in the polling unit where I am. Everything has been so calm and very peaceful. The police officer, you just have one police officer just there, just one police officer, but so far so good. There's been no report of violence, and everything is very cool. Even though we have reports from other surrounding polling units at Ikate, where we have reports of violence in almost 4 polling units, but so far so good. We've not had any reports in my polling unit where I'm present.
Right.
And none of that day has been very calm because army officials have been sent there and everything is going on well.
Okay, all right, Grace, you made mention of the INEC officials coming in really late. You mean 4 hours late. Are you trying to say that voting is still ongoing at your polling units right now?
Yes, as of now, voting exercise is still ongoing because we have to, accredit all the voters who were present in the morning, and everybody has to vote because no one is ready to leave if they have not casted their vote.
Okay, approximately how many people do we have on ground right now?
Okay. At the beginning of the voting exercise, we had about 200 people, but as of now, it is reduced to about 30 people. They're trying their best to be very fast so everybody can go back to their homes.
All right. When you say reduced to 30 people, you mean those persons voted or they gave up and left? What do you mean?
Okay, I mean the 30 people remaining, seated and waiting to cast their vote. That means about 107 people have, casted their vote and all went.
All right, thank you very much,
Thank
Grace.
you, Grace.
Thanks for your updates and your reports. Thank you.
All right, so we've heard from that angle. What's your take on that?
From what she has said, she basically specifically reduced it to the polling unit where she covers. And but we saw an online video of Choma Aputa, where she was saying that she's been the target of some miscreants and thugs who came to disrupt the election process, and in that same Etiosa local government, and although she made mention of it, but I must praise the security agency. She just reported that in those areas that seems to have this electoral violence, that the security agencies, the combination of the army and the police, have been deployed there to forestall any further breakdown of law and order and for the process to continue. And I urge the security agencies who must keep clamoring, who must keep pushing them to be up to their duty to make sure that we find a balance between electoral violence and actually people coming out not to be intimidated to vote.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel Yesikan Jr. for coming. It's been great having you and having your thoughts. Thank you so much. But that's all we take now for this segment of our live telecast. We're not done. We'll still be bringing you updates and live broadcasts from the various places in Nigeria, particularly the Collation Center. We predict that sometime soon activities will kick off fully at that place, and we'll be bringing you visuals from there and from other places. A lot of the reports our reporters have been bringing in will be coming in packages, and robust reports are still on the way. Do stay with us. Keep a date with us on Kaftan TV here. We're not quite done. We'll continue to bring you more updates and analysis on the election, the 2023 general elections. Thank you so much for being with us. Bye for now.
And I am Messi Babajide. This is where we bring to an end this segment, and do stay with us for more updates on Nigeria Decides. Bye for now.
Irene Christova, a court party. Christova Irene Imumolen, born on the 5th of September 1983, is the Ado of Abaji, an educationist, a university professor, a serial entrepreneur, a business mogul, and a Nigerian politician. He is the founder of Joint Professional Training and Support International Limited, an educational body that has trained over 30,000 certified professionals since 2009, and Unique Foundation, a non-profit, non-governmental organization. Christova is an indigen of Ishan West, Epoma, in Edo State, Nigeria. He started his work career as a plant engineer at BOC Gases Nigeria PLC in February 2005. He had his primary education at the Twins Nursery and Primary School, Papa Ajao, Lagos, and his secondary education at the Nigeria Model High School, Idioro, Mushin, Lagos, before he proceeded for his degree and professional qualifications at the University of Benin, the University of Lagos, the International Institute of Management and Technology, and Global Wealth University, amongst other professional institutions. Christova possesses 2 PhD academic degrees, which are in engineering research and educational management. He also possessed
a group under the aegis of concerned indigenes of Ogun State have asked the Ogun State Television, OGTV, to open up its airwaves to other political parties and candidates. The media house was allegedly accused of refusing to use campaign jingles and adverts from the opposition parties in the state. This displeasure was made known on Thursday during a press conference held at the NUJ Press Center, Abeokuta. The leader of the group, Febi Oniide, noted that the station is the only television station closest to the people.
I have observed that what we see daily on various broadcast stations of Ogun State government, especially OGTV station, are mainly the campaign jingles, adverts, and discussions on the candidacy of the sitting governor, His Excellency Prince Dapo Abiodun, for second term, and other candidates contesting under the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC. It was after this observation that we took it upon ourselves as stakeholders in our dear state to make findings on why this abnormality is taking place at an election period. We went about to meet with other political parties presenting candidates in Ogun State on why they've been unable to utilize the great broadcast opportunity of a television station that is common patrimony of the people of Ogun State, and we got a shocker. Deducing from what we had from about 10 political parties who have governorship candidates and other candidates for the forthcoming elections, we were told that OGV station has refused to grant any of their requests to either place adverts in form of campaign jingles, nor even grant their representatives or candidates the opportunity to engage with the good people of Ogun State on the station. In fact, some complain that OGTV hammered them with highly exorbitant costs when they persist to place advertorial campaign jingles.
He emphasized that in doing this, the television station violates Section 763 A, D, E, G, and H of the Nigerian Broadcasting Code.
We believe we should let you know that these actions of OGTV station banning other political parties from presenting their views and manifestos is contrary to Section 95, subsections 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the Electoral Act 2022, with a penalty stipulated for a breach in Section 95, subsection 6 of the Act. More so, the action of the television station also violates Section 763, subsection A, D, E, F, G, and H of the Nigerian Broadcasting Code, 6th edition of 2016.
Also commenting on the Naira redesign policy, the group berates the hardship the policy has brought on Nigerians, while imploring the Ogun State governor to put up collection points for old Naira notes.
We hereby implore the governor to put up collection points for old Naira notes in order to ameliorate the sufferings of the people. We believe they should know what to do after setting up the old naira collection points. We have hereby helped them to start the thought process of good governance.
The stakeholders also emphasized that they want the best for the state and its people, and as such, they cannot turn deaf ears to all these stated avoidable challenges. From Abeokuta, Jumoke Adebari, reporting for Kaftan Television News.
A peace concert with theme Strengthening Mechanism for Early Response to Electoral Violence in the Streets of Jos, Plateau State. In preparation and the show of readiness ahead of the 2023 general elections, a group of civil society organizations on the eve of the 2023 polls urges Nigerians to participate fully in the general elections by casting their votes. During the peace concert, while using different means to promote peace in the states, the group educates electorates on how to identify red flags during the election and after.
What we are telling people is that go out and vote, but don't fight. So we are looking forward to an election that is not only free, it's not only credible, it's not only fair, but it's violence-free. So for a red flag, what we need to do is that what is unusual about our environment? What is it that we are seeing that we have not seen before? In terms of, okay, what is the response of the community? How are the community doing their normal business? Are shops open? Are people going about doing their normal business? Are people standing on the streets doing nothing? Are people going back to their normal businesses? So these are red flags. What are people doing? How are people responding? How are people using their social media to respond to some of the issues during or after the election?
The area of concern in Plateau State for these peace concerts is just north and just south, the group says.
People of Tudunwada community. Okay, this project was conducted in it's being conducted in two local governments, that's Jos South and Jos North. For Jos South, this peace concert is running concurrently in Kuya at Bukuru Market, while we are here at Tudunwada, Jos North. We just want to sensitize the community and the electorate to vote wisely, to shun violence, because we know the dangers and the implications of electoral violence. Jos North and Jos South in Plateau State are volatile because it is a mixed local government. We have people from different religions and people from different ethnicities.
Meanwhile, electorate charges Nigerians to vote as their votes will determine the future of the nation.
I'm going to vote tomorrow because I want a good future for my children and good future for Nigeria. I will do my part. Please go out there and vote. Put your mind there. Get the right person on the seat, and let Nigeria be great.
Just as Nigerians anticipated for the election day, they also anticipate to know who will emerge the winner and leader of Nigeria for the next 4 years. From Jos Plateau State, Mavis Ako, Kaftan TV News.
The president of the Ogun Youth Advocate for Social Development, Comrade Oluseyi Alamu, has announced the union's unflinching support for the incumbent governor of the state, Dapo Abiodun, in his second-term election bid. He was speaking at a press briefing held at the Secretariat of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, Okelewo, Abeokuta, on Thursday.
Despite our non-partisanity, we deem it needful to throw our weight behind one of the governorship candidates in the state. And after true check, we have decided to support the incumbent governor Dapo Abiodun of the All Progressive Congress. Our support for Governor Dapo Abiodun was motivated by the very obvious achievements in the state in all the key sectors of the economy.
While highlighting the various achievements of the Dapo Abiodun-led administration, he says the governor has, within the space of 3 years in office, recorded unbeatable achievement that ordinarily could have taken 8 years to achieve.
The governor has, within a space of 3 years in office, recorded unbeatable achievements that ordinarily would have taken 8 years to achieve. The overhaul of the agri sector under Abiodu's administration speaks volume of this. I therefore stated that at least the multiplier effect of this enabling environment on investment, inflow, and industrial growth cannot be overemphasized. For instance, it has been estimated that the international cargo airport alone, when completed, will generate no fewer than 25,000 jobs for the people of the state, and it targeted at the youth. And that was our core value as Ogun Youth Advocate for Social Development, to enable our young ones to engage.
He also maintained that the core vision of the union is to advocate for social development and serve as the voice of the voiceless youths in Ogun State. From Abeokuta, Jumoke Adebare, reporting for Kaftan Television News. Ahead of the 2023 presidential election on Saturday, the People's Redemption Party, PRP, has debunked rumor going around that it has collapsed its structure in support of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Briefing newsmen in Abeokuta on Thursday, the Ogun State chairman of the party, Samson Okusoya,